Okay, chapter 3, molecules, compounds, and chemical equations. Here's an interesting question. How many different substances exist? I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. There's a lot of different substances. Elements combine with each other to form compounds, and each compound is a different substance. So there's 91 naturally occurring elements, and so you get combinations of those. You can have combinations of just 2 elements, or 3, or 4, or 5. So you could do math and probability and figure out all the different combinations, which would be just mind-boggling. But not all combinations are possible, not all combinations exist. But this huge diversity we see is a result of the ability of elements to form compounds. So let's look at hydrogen and oxygen. So we know that hydrogen and oxygen can combine to form water. And in this slide, we're looking at a comparison of the properties of hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, and water. So hydrogen and oxygen both boil way below 0 degrees Celsius, whereas water boils at 100 degrees above 0. So that's a huge difference in boiling point. When oxygen and hydrogen combine to form water, their properties change dramatically. Hydrogen and oxygen are gases at room temperature, water is a liquid, and flammability is also pretty dramatic. Hydrogen gas is very explosive. Oxygen gas, while technically not explosive, is required for combustion, and yet water, the combination of those two things, is used to put out fires, right? So when two or more elements combine to form a compound, we get an entirely new substance. That substance has different physical and chemical properties than the elements. We've talked about the law of definite proportions. We can have a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen gases that can have any proportions. It could be 50% of each, it could be 25 of one, 75 of the other. Anything is possible in a mixture. In a compound like water, it has a definite proportion. The proportions are always the same. So in water, we have 2 hydrogen atoms to every 1 oxygen atom. And so that's called a definite proportion. Here's an illustration of the difference between a mixture of oxygen and hydrogen and water. So here we have 2 different kinds of particles. This is a mixture. Over here, this is a compound. All the particles are the same. Here, the composition is variable. Here, it's a definite proportion. Always the same.